Sanctum of Domination is the most excited that I have been about a new raid in a long time, because seriously, between the lore events and the visuals, it looks like a blast. Today it's lore time. Strap in, because the Shadowlands is going to get a bit messed up, and today we have some extremely juicy lore to sink into with a bunch of characters from the history of the game that I think we all care about a great deal. It is going to be real cool. So juicy lore to sink our teeth into, and GlassesUSA.com, today's sponsor, to sink our eyes into. I need glasses. I've never liked shopping for them. The whole thing tends to be an overpriced hassle, as I'm sure you know if you also wear glasses. But not with GlassesUSA.com, because by cutting out the middleman, they can get you your prescription glasses at up to 70% off. And if you click my link down below, you will get a great offer and free shipping. Now, for me, it's quite hard to know what glasses actually work. So what I really like is their virtual mirror. You can use that and then just see their big, massive range with your face, which is a lot easier than trying on, a few pairs slowly in a shop with a small range. Also, they've got an app that will scan your current glasses and tell you what your prescription is if you're like me and always lose your prescription card. What I love, though, is getting glasses to cover all my bases. So there's these rimless ones, which are just awesome. I've got these big blue light filtering bios to grab your eye health, and also they fit my Oculus Quest real well, which makes that more comfy. And then also, the thing is, I've never owned prescription sunglasses before, so, I've got these ones here, and then I've got, these big ones too. So it's nice having the big frames, but also the more traditional reading glasses frames as well. So all very, very handy indeed. And if you go to the link in the video description, you'll get a special offer with my link. So do that. And of course, 100% money back guarantee, so it's risk-free. A big thanks to GlassesUSA.com for supporting our channel. And with that said, it is time for some real juicy Warcraft lore. The Eye of Odyn. Odyn, the arrogant prick of the Titan Keepers. One who, of course, the jailer played like a fiddle. He who was so furious at his fellow keepers over the empowerment of Azeroth's dragon aspects that he just decided to raise the Halls of Valor out of Ulduar, quit his job as Prime Designate, and take the entire thing into his own hands. So he decided he could raise an army of his own and do all that work the dragons would do. All he would need is a vision into the realm of the dead to get the best warriors. Clearly, he didn't really understand what any of this meant. Then, of course, he also needed a means to get those warriors. So, he handed his eye over to a mysterious spirit in return for the ability to see into the Shadowlands. Of course, that spirit turned out to be none other than Muzela. Hey, call that one in 2018 when I tried to work out who Bum Samedi's boss was. That was a fun one. So, nice one, Odyn. Of course, Zovaal, the jailer, then used that eye from Odyn to torment countless souls for a very long time, and of course to do in the heads of many a World of Warcraft player. But that's not all for the big man Odyn, because he of course forced Helya to become a Valkyr, an idea that he totally stole from the Kyrians that he happened to see when he peered into the Shadowlands. Now, Helya, of course, wasn't too happy about being forced into servitude, and she's been a thorn in our side ever since. And of course, a lingering plotline of the Shadowlands. So I'm sure we'll all take a lot of pleasure in destroying the Eye of Odyn once and for all. Really, someone needs to give Odyn a good scolding, because he really cocked up the whole thing for us, didn't he? And, well, as we fight his eye, we do actually see a bunch of Titan-ish abilities. That surely won't be the last time we will fight the forces of order, believe me. When their mistress beckons, 9 ravens take flight. Each seeks a prize to earn her favor. Remember that line? We all thought it was Sylvanas' Valkyr, and it almost certainly is, because we fight the 9. Sylvanas' Valkyr. And the lore here is so fun. So in Edge of Night, the novella the short story after Icecrown Citadel, Sylvanas, of course, decided, well, it was time to end it all. Of course, Arthas was dead. She was just kind of left as an undead being, wasn't too happy about it. So what purpose did she really have? So she hopped off the tower. Now, death did not grant the peace that she wished it would, though, for she didn't find peace. She found what we now know as the Maw. And when she got there, 9 Valkyr appeared. They offered her their services, saying that with the Lich King being dead, they no longer had a master. Lies. They served the Lich King, yes, but the Lich King, of course, served the jailer, right? They are of the jailer. They didn't lose their master. They simply had a new mission assigned to them. And that mission was Sylvanas. So Sylvanas then, armed with these Valkyr, she comes out swinging in Cataclysm. She tries to claim all of Lordaeron for the Forsaken. She no longer feels as hopeless as she did atop Icecrown. She's got a new purpose. And of course she was so aggressive that she got herself killed by Lord Godfrey. Of course, the Valkyr could sacrifice themselves to bring her back. What does that do? Oh, it fosters a dependence. Sylvanas needs the Valkyr. So using Sylvanas' fear of death to keep her basically hooked on the jailer's supply. It's actually my belief that this is how the relationship started there, with Sylvanas being kind of read into the situation more and more as time went on and as she actually proved herself, because, like her or not, Sylvanas is pretty damn capable. As it stands, we know that 6 of her Valkyr have died, most recently when Tyrande killed Brynja in Darkshore. So, of course, in Sanctum of Domination, the final 3 face us down, and when we reach phase 3 of that fight, the fallen 6 are resurrected. Sounds cool. And with the defeat of these Valkyr, we, of course, continue our ascent of the tower, and we also destroy those who, in a way, started this entire thing. Because if it was not for those Valkyr, and that situation with Sylvanas and Edge of Night, Shadowlands would not have happened in the way it did. Now, as for the line about them taking flight and seeking a prize to earn Sylvanas' favor, I just don't know about that one yet, because, it could be an event in the raid, but we got to remember here, the 9 of them have never really been together at once in-game or in events, because by the time Shadowlands happens, only 3 of them are going about the place, the others have been killed. So maybe it's just metaphorical, earning her favor to deepen her dependence on the jailer's forces. Or maybe there'll be a big event that we'll get to see. I cannot wait for the Soul Render Dormazane fight, because the soul on today's menu is Garrosh's soul. We really don't know much about the exact lore here, though it is kind of funny how Hellscream is an actual ability that Garrosh uses in the fight. But the core thing here, and I think it's big to the lore, it's that Dormazane wants to suck the anima out of Garrosh. Now, we know that Garrosh has a lot of anima. He certainly lived large in life, a bit literally. I mean, he did basically turn so big in Siege of Orgrimmar that he may as well have been a kaiju. But with Dormazane defeated, Garrosh's soul is going to be free. And guess who's also in this raid? Thrall and Jaina. Now, we know that those characters are in the final fight, but, I mean, come on, it's Thrall and Jaina, right? Thrall and Garrosh had quite the finale, one that even led to, of course, Thrall's situation with the elemental connection damage. And then as for Jaina, I mean, Garrosh did sort of nuke her city, killing just about everybody that she knew and cared about. So, that'll be big. And also, Anduin. He's bound to be floating around somewhere. And it actually did seem like Garrosh respected Anduin. There was times Garrosh could have killed him, and he didn't. In War Crimes, Garrosh spared Anduin's life, right, in that novel, and that was after Anduin spared Garrosh from the poison. Now, it's unfortunate what Garrosh went on to do, but there did seem to be a respect there. And to be honest with you, Garrosh realizing everything and doing something vaguely right to maybe help a dominated Anduin would be kind of neat. I think to people who have maybe read Christie Golden's novels, like War Crimes, you kind of get that, it would make sense. Could be jarring to some of the people who have only played the in-game lore, though. But once more, wonderful lore potential. And now for the one I'm super hyped for, Nerzhul. We fight him, but do we kill him? I don't think so, because here's the deal. This fragment of Nerzhul's soul has spent an eternity being tormented within a shadow steel cage. Now that alone is quite interesting because shadow steel is the ore of Ardenweald, right? It's what we make our Legos out of. I mean, if Ardenweald's power can lock the jailer up, then I imagine it could do a real number in somebody when it's turned to his desires. Of course, if shadow steel is one of the things we turn into the rune carver, then is that what Frostmourne and Domination gear was actually forged from? Could be. After all, it is the stuff we give to the rune carver, and he did make the Domination gear and Frostmourne. Anyway, Ner'zhul. He's trapped, but he fights us. Why? Well, it reminds me of an extremely metal concept from Warhammer 40k, and that is the Penitent Engine. They're a bit gnarly. Now, here's the thing with Ner'zhul. He had a bunch of plans. We know that much, right? So I can't imagine Nerzhul willingly working for the Jailer. I mean, the Jailer did kind of replace Nerzhul with a new Lich King. Now, as we do this fight, we break off bits of the armor that Nerzhul's soul is trapped in. And it makes me wonder that by the end of the fight, will that armor be destroyed? And that would mean the soul of Nerzhul could actually be free. And you know what? Nerzhul, he was done dirty in Warlords of Draenor, and they've long hinted at our Nerzhul being up to something, having plans. I mean, even as recently as in Legion. So I think the potential here is absolutely immense. I do have to wonder, though, if Nerzhul, like Uther, is a soul-splitting situation. Because you've got that part of, Nerzhul that fell into the maw, right? But was there a bit that was trapped into the helm? Because he was probably knocking about in the helm, wasn't he? So there's some thoughts going on there. But regardless, one of the coolest orcs in Warcraft history is back, and believe me, you better keep your eyes peeled on the channel, because Ner'zhul is the first World of Warcraft character to feature in our big up-and-coming series that we have spent so much time on. I've seen the early cut, it's going to be awesome, so get hype, but there's more for this video that's also kind of neat. We fight two twisted servants of the first ones. We've got Fate Scribe Rocalo, a being similar to those found in Oribos, but he hails from Korthia, and the Guardian of the First Ones, which basically is a big First Ones battle mech. And bar the Arbiter, I think the Guardian might actually be the largest bit of First Ones tech that we've seen and fought. And its abilities feel titanic. That's big to the lore. They feel of order, both in terms of name and also feeling arcane. I mean, you've got abilities like Elimination Pattern, Disintegration, and Threat Neutralization. Those are all things that sound like the sorts of abilities that Algalon and Mother and other Titans would use, right? And then visually, I mean, the First One's technology looks like, basically, Titan tech, but a bit older and a bit more rusty, doesn't it? So, Titans are beings of order. But when the Titans were born, how the hell would they even know what order would look like? Surely, like a child learning by mimicking and making sense of their parents' actions, did the Titans not analyze the First One's work? And rather than create the cosmos in a certain way, like the First Ones did, the Titans then ordered it in a certain way, a way inspired by what the First Ones did. They operated a level down from their progenitor's creation, and I would say they modeled themselves in a way off the cosmic forces created by the First Ones. I mean, that's why the Titans and Light seem to get along pretty decently. And then, of course, you've got Eonar. She's a being of order, but she does tend to work in the realm of life. I wonder if there's some First Ones inspiration there. As for Fate Scribe, well, he's interesting because he is of Korthia, not Oribos. And that's going to mean that he will have access to that city's vast ancient knowledge. Stuff that's been totally lost to us. So expect lore reveals. And also, you can be pretty damn sure the Jailer will have learned everything the Fate Scribe knows, likely aiding in the Jailer's overall plan. And that's probably why he chained Korthia, specifically so that he could learn what Fate Scribe Rocalo and his kin know. Okay, it's time for the big boy. We finally fight KelThuzad, and we fight him for good. Now, it won't be easy because he's fighting us with access to a near infinite well of soul energy, so that's kind of neat. But this is no doubt a massive moment, and it's one that could actually change the lore tremendously. More than I think most people realize, for we actually have never known from what point KelThuzad started serving the Jailer instead of the Nerzhul Lich King. Because if KelThuzad was working for the Jailer at a point in Warcraft 3, then you really would have to wonder. I mean, you've got that bit in War 3 Frozen Throne where the Dreadlords attacked Arthas for helping the Nerzhul Lich King, right? And when that attack happened, KelThuzad conveniently slipped away, evading the Dreadlords. Now, KelThuzad, in the new lore, will have known those Dreadlords were actually his mates, but then later, KelThuzad reappeared and he rescued Arthas from Sylvanas and then provided Arthas with the fleet that he would need to go and chase down Illidan. Now, that could actually fit with the modern lore if that Dreadlord attack was something that they had to do so as to not blow their cover as double agents in the Burning Legion, with then KelThuzad subtly helping Arthas along. After all, we do know that Nerzhul, he started to get his own ideas. He was a bit of a smart up-and-comer as a Lich King, and the Jailer obviously wanted somebody else on the throne. So we can actually, perhaps, learn this. Now, zooming forward, the adventurers of vanilla World of Warcraft defeated Kel'Thuzad, they collected his phylactery, and they gave it to Father Inigo Montoy of the Argent Dawn. And of course, their dear father double-crossed us, stealing the phylactery and spiriting it away to Northrend, because he was actually a Cult of the Damned-ish sort of member, double-crossed us, and that's what paved the way for Wrath of the Lich King's Naxxramas. Now this time, in Sanctum of Domination, we actually fight to destroy that phylactery. We even go inside it, where we fight the last of Kel'Thuzad's soul, that still appears in his old human form. And here's what's going to be awesome, right? Well, first, we're going to give him the true death he deserves, because he's been a bit of a knob towards Azeroth, hasn't he? But in the process, we might actually learn more about his relationship with the jailer. We might even be able to put a time and a date on it, which I think is just so much hype. So there you go, there's a bunch of cool lore. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's lore video. I think this stuff is just so fun. It makes me excited for the raid. Just wait till we tackle Sylvanas, the jailer's plans, and the potential mind blows that are coming for the end of this raid. It's not quite time to do it yet. We are currently, our team, we're digging into Sanctum of Domination. We're taking a look at things. We're trying to build all the clues together to just present you just an awesome thing in the potential of this finale. Because honestly, this is so big. It seems like what's going to happen could be big enough to actually be an expansion finale, which could set up 9-2 to, even if it is very behind schedule, have a bit of a cool narrative thrust. So that's it for today. Thank you to GlassesUSA.com. Hit out that link down below. You will get a great deal, free shipping, and hey, they're really helping out the channel over all these months, and we thank them for it. So have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the lore. Let me know what your theories are, and I'll see you next time.